And I think a lot of people who watch HGTV and house flippers on all those TV shows, they see it's a sexy, fun business where you'll buy a house for cheap, you'll make it look beautiful, and then you sell it for a lot of money. And it's just not the case. At the end of the day, everyone makes money and everyone's happy in those shows. They're definitely glorifying it in those shows. It takes a lot of time and energy, and you have to have a passion for it. You want to work with people who have done it before. You're gonna have to do it for yourself a few times, but there is something fulfilling about taking an older house and then going through it once it's all completed and seeing your vision come to life. Some common mistakes that people do when they're renovating. People will spend too much money on certain items. So if they come up with a budget to renovate their home, well, instead of evenly dispersing those funds throughout the home, they'll usually spend it on one or two items. It makes the kitchen look better if you spend it all in the kitchen, but it also makes your outdated items in the home stand out that much more. And sometimes I was over renovating from the start. You want to fix everything. You want to change the appearance of everything, but as you go, you learn that you have to stick to a budget. You have to focus your time and energy on the things that are going to give you a return, that are going to make someone want to rent there. And when I first got started, I think I spent a little too much time or money on the looks of things instead of the function. How do we choose what to renovate on a property? That's such a hard question because renovations can be like opening up a can of worms. And a lot of times sellers will try to do some renovations on a home to make it sell for more or sell quicker. And sometimes it actually makes the rest of the home look more outdated. I'm just gonna update the floors. Well, if you're updating the floors, then that means you're removing or changing out the baseboards, which means you're putting on new baseboards, which might need paint. So now you're painting, so now do you paint the walls? Now the walls lead to, the plugs and light switches being updated. It's just this never-ending cycle of where do you end, where do you put in the money? Are you gonna get that in return when you go to sell? It's really hard to say. So you definitely, before pulling the trigger on any renovation, you really have to take the time to come up with a budget and a game plan of where you're allocating those funds. So what renovation will add the most value to the property? It's not even considered a renovation. Cleaning it, staging it. But I think even if you have older cabinets, straighten out the doors, put on some new handles, touch up the paint on the walls, but make sure there's no dust, make sure there's no dirt. Make sure that when someone walks in that home, it doesn't feel like they're walking into a lived-in family home, which in most cases, these are. They're homes that, a family of 4 or 5 are living in, and you can tell. And so we need to create the look and feel of a show home, even if the flooring is outdated, even if the cabinets are a little bit outdated. What can we do to make it seem very, very clean? And again, not a renovation, but staging. You can put some really nice furniture in a home, or cutlery, or a dining table in a home that instantly updates it without actually, ripping down walls or repainting things or spending a lot of money there. Is it better to renovate your home before selling? I would say that it is not. If you have a dated home, make sure it's clean, make sure your advertising is right, and staging it. And I think those are the biggest things that will bring you a good return on your money. Clean that, make the house spotless. There's some, really old granny homes out there that are meticulously maintained. And even though it's so outdated throughout the home, it's like walking into the 70s, like a time portal. But that shag carpet is super clean and the walls are clean. And for a lot of people who have these older homes, it's just a higher risk, it's more stress, it's more money. But the most, expensive, time-consuming projects would be something more along the lines of this type of home, where we're basically taking an older home and basically going down to the studs, redoing everything top to bottom. And it's a big project because you don't always know what you're getting into. You don't always know what's going to be behind the walls, if there's asbestos, if there's black mold, what you're dealing with, which, it can be daunting, it can be expensive, and there can be a lot of issues along the way. I would much rather make a deal where we can buy the property and you can just move on, or let us work with you to go through with that renovation. Can I help everyone out in all situations? Probably not. That's probably the honest answer to it. When I hear certain people say like, there's no job too big, you know, we'll take it all on. I buy and sell everything. I don't think that's how I do business. That's not how I want to be. I want to help as many people as I can. If you have a question, I'd love to try and help you out, or try and, you know, figure out something that we can do for you, or send you in a direction that someone can help you out in and sell it in that sense.